History has seen punishments so cruel, so terrifying, that today they are almost impossible to imagine. These punishments did not only cause physical pain, but also destroyed people mentally. Today, we will learn about 10 of the most horrifying punishments in history. We have previously created several videos on this topic, and you gave them a great response. If you want to watch those, you can visit our YouTube channel. Brazen Bull. This punishment was a terrifying symbol of cruelty in ancient Greece. A large bull made of bronze was created, hollow from the inside. The criminal was placed inside it, and the door was locked from the outside. Then a fire was lit underneath. Gradually, the temperature inside increased. The person could not breathe, and their screams echoed from within. These screams came out through holes in the bull's head in such a way that it sounded like the bull itself was roaring. The inventor, Parallaeus, was himself punished by this device when he demonstrated it to the king. Ling Shi. This punishment was practiced in China for several centuries and was known as death by 1,000 cuts. It was a horrifying execution method where parts of the criminal's body were slowly cut off. First, the hands and feet, then the chest, and gradually other parts. The main purpose was to prolong suffering so that the victim remained in agony for as long as possible. Sometimes this punishment lasted for hours, even days. The most horrifying aspect was that in many cases, family members were forced to watch. Blood Eagle. The Vikings believed that if someone died bravely, they would go to heaven. However, one of their punishments was unimaginably brutal. In this method, the victim's back was cut open, ribs were separated from the spine, and the lungs were slowly pulled out and placed over the ribs, making it look like eagle wings. Imagine a person fully conscious while their body is mutilated in such a horrific way. The pain was so extreme that many died from cardiac arrest during the punishment. Scaphism. This punishment was used in ancient Persia and was known as the boats of hell. The victim was trapped between two boats so they could not move. They were force-fed milk and honey, causing severe illness. Within hours, insects began to breed on their body. Flies, worms, and ants started eating their flesh. Slowly, the body began to rot. This punishment continued for days until the victim died in unbearable agony. Judas Cradle. This was a medieval punishment from Italy. The victim was stripped naked and placed on top of a sharp pyramid-shaped structure. The entire body weight rested on this point, which slowly tore the flesh. In extreme pain, the victim would struggle as death approached. Sometimes they were lifted with ropes and dropped again to increase the suffering. Rat torture. In this punishment, a cage filled with hungry rats was placed on the victim's stomach. Then hot metal was placed on top of the cage. To escape the heat, the rats would dig into the victim's body. The person would scream in agony, but there was nothing they could do. The rats would tear through the body from the inside. Hanged, drawn, and quartered. In England, this was the most brutal punishment for traitors. First, the victim was hanged, but before death, they were cut down. Then, parts of their body were removed. Finally, they were tied to 4 horses and pulled apart in different directions. Spanish donkey. In this method, the victim was forced to sit on a sharp wooden structure. Gradually, their body was cut open by their own weight. Sometimes heavy weights were tied to their legs to increase the speed and intensity of the suffering. Sound torture. A specific frequency of sound was played repeatedly. The victim could not sleep and gradually lost their sanity. Continuous exposure to this sound caused severe mental breakdown. Breaking wheel. In this punishment, the victim was tied to a large wheel. Their limbs were broken one by one with a hammer. Then they were left in that condition until they slowly died from pain and injuries. So friends, these were 10 of the most horrifying punishments in history. It is frightening to think how cruel humans can be. Let us know in the comments how you liked the video. And yes, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe now. See you in the next episode with another interesting topic. Goodbye for today. Allah Hafiz.